Hello and welcome to another update on Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's daily chart shows no change. It has so far been a quiet weekend. A little bit of downside pressure, maybe, but more just consolidation in this range up here, which is just basically sideways price action. Someone asked me recently whether this could turn into a triangle. And while a triangle is always possible, I see no evidence for a triangle. We don't have enough evidence. And I'm not just saying it, just to say it's too early. No, it's also that triangles are often not going to play out. Okay, there are really, really rare. These are very rare patterns. They don't play out very often. So it typically doesn't make sense to track a triangle too early. Also, a triangle is required to form corrective patterns only. And the decline from the May high seems to be a 5-wave decline. So it is not clearly, let's say, a 3-3-3-3 pattern. It's not clearly a corrective pattern only. We are tracking here, corrective price action at the moment, okay. And but a 5-wave move down initially, and then 3 waves up, 3 waves down from the June high. So we are tracking a correction, but not necessarily a triangle. I think what is more likely is that this is forming some kind of an A, B, C structure, and we are targeting here this area between 99,227 and 92,830. This view has not changed and remains the preferred view as long as we stay below certain resistance levels, which I'm going to show you in a minute on our smaller time frame. Please note that in this B wave, shown in white, the price can technically extend all the way down to $81,340. This is, let's say, this is what all of the B wave could do. And it could easily extend a little lower, no problem. But obviously what I'm tracking first is a 3-wave move down. That is technically enough to complete a B wave. But whether this is all of the B wave or the B wave is extending like that, I mean, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. This year would certainly not be good for the altcoins. Bitcoin, we would probably get a good price entry point, maybe the last opportunity in this cycle. Please note that the 81,340 level is key support. It is key support. That means any break below that level, for me that's nearly a pivot to distinguish between bull market and bear market these days, which means that if we get any break below that 78.6 retrace, it is likely that the bull market has topped. Yes, there will be further confirmation necessary. Of course, there's never certainty, but this would be confirmation. So overall, nothing has changed in the last few days. However, I just want to repeat the levels again. And my view is still that once this correction is over, we should move towards 130K. Can we extend any higher than that? Yeah, I mentioned it many times that even a rally to round about 190K would be possible if this 5th wave is extending. So I wouldn't really call this wave count wrong, or there's no need to change this wave count until we really break and sustain above 190K. Even then, it's not necessarily about being right or wrong. The trend is still up. So I'm going to continue to track the uptrend until we break above, until we break below support. But point is, this wave count, this particular scenario I'm tracking, is technically absolutely defendable as long as we're holding, including a rally to 190K, okay? So only if we break above, we might have to change some things. That would not change the direction of the analysis, however, but it would mean that we have to change the wave count in a way that it supports a further rally. But 130K, next milestone target. Upside extensions always have to be expected as long as we don't break below support. I mentioned many times, I am not going to confirm a bear market until we actually break below support. This has been so far the right strategy in this market. And it's difficult. I know a lot of people already confirmed the bear market. They obviously were wrong because in my view, they use signals that were not really meaningful signals. But again, it is tough. Please understand that. Don't criticize people for calling a bear market too early. I've seen many people criticize others. For example, on X, I wouldn't do that. I mean, what we can say is maybe those signals were not meaningful. For me, I always said there was a support area here. If broken, I would also assume we're in the bear market, but we always have to be able to change our opinion, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be analysts. Otherwise, we would make all the mistakes that traders typically make, because traders normally don't change their opinion, right? They hang on to their losses and they hang on to their bags and whatever. But no, important is, an analyst always has to be able to change his or her mind. Very important, we have no confirmed bear market yet. I told you what the level is. That means you have a clear risk management level. And yeah, that's at the moment the daily chart. Shorter time frame. By the way, if you have any questions about that, feel free to check out our X profile. I've linked it in the description. You can always comment below the latest post, ask questions. There will be someone to reply to them. Often it's myself as well. But yeah, this is a separate community we're building as well over there. So check it out if you're interested. Looking at the shorter time frame, also here, yeah, holding above this micro support area, which we talked about Thursday, Friday. We have here this white scenario in a little bit more detail, right? You see this B wave price top, which formed here on the 9th of June. This is the B wave price top, and we could now be in a C wave decline. So A wave down, B wave up, C wave down. This is kind of the ideal pathway for the white scenario. I shared with you this kind of target area down there between 99,260 and I mean the next level below is 96,767. Again, this is not the ultimate support area, but it is a support area that matters, especially here on the shorter time frame, because it is basically our next target range. In the very short term, the view was over the weekend that we would probably see a bit of a consolidation, a B wave, maybe a bit of a rally into resistance, but that we would likely stay below the 78.6 retracement there at 108,822. This is currently what we're doing. So yeah, no surprises so far. Any break above 108,822 would indeed indicate that something more bullish is playing out. Possibly the wider B wave, that this B wave never topped on Monday here. Yeah, on Monday the 9th, but it actually extends a bit. So anyway, I have no evidence that we're on our way to 130k yet here on the smaller time frame, not after the three-wave rally that we saw into the 9th of June high. Again, quick reminder, the rally from the June low is only a three-wave move up. That makes a direct upside continuation questionable. So that means I'm watching here still for maybe a little bit of up and down consolidation, maybe a little bit of a rally, but that is just a B wave, so it's not anything major. Maybe a bit of a rally into the resistance area, and then, yeah, but the overall pressure is downward, yeah. So waiting basically for signals that this C wave down has started. That's the update on Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, today, 5 p.m. UTC, we've got our member live stream running. You can ask questions. We do that every Sunday, 1 to 1.5 hours. We cover lots of cryptocurrencies. You can ask questions, request coins, and much more. Check it out if you want to join us. So if we don't see each other in our MCO live, I wish you a great Sunday. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.